Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tabasamu Tena with Patricia. This is the place where we empower you with the real causes of behavior problems and probable solutions. Of course, we also inspire you to take back your life and ultimately smile again. Our topic of discussion today is sex education. As usual, I want to begin the show by reading a quote that inspired me pertaining our topic of discussion. When we avoid difficult conversations, we trade in short-term discomfort for long-term dysfunction. Wow, that is absolutely powerful. There has been very many teenage pregnancies, especially during this COVID pandemic. And the question is, who is to blame? Do they know or don't they know? Do you think it's the right time for us to talk about sex candidly? Should sex education be introduced in school, or should it be the responsibility of the parents or even our guardians to teach us and anybody else about sex? Joining me on set to have this very candid conversation is Benjamin Zulu and Joanne Kivera. And I'd want to pose the question, Joanne, who should teach our children about sex? Or, okay, let me put it in another way. Why are there very many teenage pregnancies, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic, when all schools are closed? Why are there very many teenage pregnancies? And by the way, very few are rape. So we are not talking about the increase in crime. No, they are not rape cases. Very few are rape cases. Most of these cases are voluntary. They gave in, and they're from relatives, authorities, boyfriends. So they did this willingly. Who is to blame, or what is the problem?
From where I stand, I believe there's no one who is actually to blame. Probably you need to be asking who needs to teach the children about sexuality or give sex education. I would say it is the parent. But before we blame the parent, I would want to ask, does this parent know what to say to the children?
Exactly.
Because again, the question would be, who taught them?
This is not a new problem. The problem has been here. These pregnancies have been happening like an outbreak in the university.
Oh, yes.
The moment the kids arrive at the university, that's the first place they had free time. So this lockdown brought the free time back.
Home.
So everybody's like, hey, I'm telling them, hey, this is a new symptom of the same disease we've been dealing with. I think I feel helped. That's why I've been relatively silent. I'm happy. Now, the people who need to be talking now are talking. If you look at my social media, I've been saying there's a gap in our education system. Mm-hmm. And then we separate boys and girls. They don't know how to relate to each other.
Completely.
I want to advise our viewers, we'll get to solutions, but don't take your child to boys' school or girls' school. Which society are you preparing them for? Society is not segregated. All of us here are mixed. In this panel, we are mixed. What are you preparing them for? Take them to real life. I asked one person, who came up with the idea of boy-girls school? Who came up with the idea? Was it for the learner or for the teacher? I can tell you the truth and don't tell anyone because it's uncomfortable. Separating boys and girls only benefits the admin so that they don't mate and get pregnant. It's easy for management. It's not for them.
Mm-hmm. You seem to disagree, Joanne.
Yes.
What's your bone of contention?
The best teacher of a child is a parent. Let's begin from the basics. Now, when a parent does not teach, then they leave the child to be taught by anyone who pleases.
True.
For me, what it means is this. If a parent gives correct information to the child,
correct.
Most of the time, correct. Mm-hmm. Correct, accurate.
Information. Mm-hmm. Accurate.
Most of the time, and largely, correct information plus if a parent gives a child affection, they will not be looking for affection there and ending up in sex, and they will not be looking for information, their curiosity, I want to know. The gist about porn is they want to know what they don't know. Now, a parent needs to train a child about sex from 2.5 years.
Latest
Joanne. 3 years, yes.
2.5 years.
I am very serious.
Can these children even talk?
Yes.
I was talking, can I finish?
Yes.
You guys picked it and you went away. Kids spend more time in school than at home.
So?
8 months in school, 3 months at home.
So what's your
After
point?
parents have done proper parenting, experimentation with the opposite gender cannot be done with your siblings. At home, you only have siblings. Only in school where you have other people who we have chemistry with. So it's not parents alone. Parents will do their work. But these kids are spending more time with their peers. So I was saying that the best thing we can do for our kids is to give them systematic exposure. The parent gives theory. Out there they see the practical. Many of them did not get pregnant for looking for affection. They just didn't know. I can't tell you how many I have now who got pregnant in first year university just after Form 1. They tell me pregnancy was not in my mind, and that she got airplane in biology. And she cannot relate sex with pregnancy.
But when you say
there's a gap in our education system, that was the problem number one. We are teaching them theories that are not related. So what she's saying is very true. There's the curriculum the parent must supply because it's not there at school. The next thing is they stop segregating children. The third thing is there's a problem we are not mentioning here. There's a marauding hordes of sex hunting men who are taking advantage of blind teenagers.
What
who
did you
don't know
call
what they're
them?
looking for.
What did you call them?
They move here like marauding hordes of wolves. They just have sex hunting. They don't care any scat, whether it's 18 or 17 or 16 or 64. We have a huge group of dysfunctional men who just are sex hunting. And you must educate your children that most of the guys you're seeing out there, even if they're dressed proper, they don't have you at heart. They catear you, promising love, promising attention. They're just after sex. I have so many of those cases. It's a pattern.
So now, I think we are getting ahead of ourselves. We are talking about a topic. And you people assume I know what it is that you're talking about. And I think I don't know. Please take me slowly. What is sex? We need to start there. First things first. Before you tell me sex education, who should teach me? Who should not teach me? What is sex?
Now let's start from, I said 2.5 years that you said that little. I want to go back there and take you bit by bit until adolescence and plus. So 2.5 to 3 years, we teach sex education that is appropriate. How do we do it at 3 years? You begin to teach private parts. And you say, these are your private parts. You show them at 3 years and let them know no one should touch, no one should see, no one should lick. Now, if they know that, then you're already teaching them what is sexually inappropriate. Because what no one tells you, most of the teenage pregnancies of these girls who get teenage pregnancies have been sexually abused before.
Ooh.
Or sexually violated. So it starts very young. Inappropriate behavior starts very young, sexually speaking. So if you can teach a 3-year-old, by the time they go to school, then no one should touch, no one should see, no one should lick, inclusive of their teacher. Okay? Now, when you teach that, you begin to help them, empower them to take care of their sexuality. What do? Even when you're showering them, you give them a towel to bathe their own private parts. That you empower, first of all. So the issue of they don't know, so they just angukia, like it doesn't happen because they already know. This is a part that needs to be protected. Why should they not be seen? Because they are special parts. Nothing wrong with sexuality. Number 2, not telling children that nitabiambaya, it is wrong to have sex. It is bad to have sex, because that is very, very untrue. Teach them, I said, accurate, correct information. So move through, by 5 years, they need to know their private parts by name. This is a penis.
No, where I come from, we don't mention.
No. We are in a dynamic world. When I was growing up, I knew vaginas and penises in secondary school, trust me. I don't even remember knowing in primary.
Precisely,
honestly.
because they are not talked about.
Exactly. And because they are not supposed to be talked about.
And even when you were knowing in secondary, it was shameful. You couldn't just mention.
And that's exactly what we're doing, erasing this concept so that they embrace their sexuality as an amazing gift from God. After all, it is.
It is.
So, by 5 years, let them know they are very special, they need to be protected. By the time a child is 7 years, they need to be exactly talked about into what sex is. Sex is, or explanation, plus...
You're telling a 7-year-old.
7-year-old.
What are you telling them?
Use diagrams, use a book. You're telling them this is what sex is.
What is it?
It is...
Tell that mother there who is asking.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Patricia, that's what I'm doing.
Tell us.
I use diagrams, and if you can't bring your children to me, one of my areas of specialty
that is very powerful. That is very powerful, our viewer. If you cannot tell your children what Joanne is saying,
I will.
She has said and she has offered. bring your children to her because I don't think I can.
I will
Okay.
do that for them,
Thank you.
clearly,
Tell
of
us
course.
now.
So you help them understand their books or their diagrams. You help, first of all, you begin from remember ulianzia 3 years. You remember
Yes.
the private parts, they're
Private
different from
parts.
that of a boy and a girl? Yes. So when they understand that, then you show them the reason why you have different private parts is for something called sex. Now, my value system allows me to say sex is appropriate in marriage. So I will teach on that concept. So I say the penis and the vagina are linked together, and this is what sex is. And I'm talking about something I've done. There's a child I parent, and that is what I exactly told them. So the
Hi,
child asked me,
Joanne.
let me be very honest. So the child asked me, so you and your husband,
That is
you
what I wanted to ask
usually
you. So my child will
have
ask me, you
sex?
and daddy.
Yes,
Surely.
listen. Then I said, yes, we usually have sex because it is a gift in marriage. Am I lying? Okay, look at your head, even Patricia, surely. Okay?
Yes.
So I say, yes, we
look
have sex. It is a gift from God in marriage. So you can see each other's private parts. I say, yes, we are actually allowed to see. Okay? So then I asked, if someone tells you to watch some image at any sex, see, of course, I had to check what they know, and they know quite a lot.
They know. Yeah,
See?
they do. They know.
So they told me what they know, and I asked them, if someone tells you to kuja one images at sex or come and see people having sex, is this something you don't know? Then he said, no, I know. So you've told me. I told him I have told you the truth, so you will not need to see. What I have told you is what there is. Then I asked, do you understand why at your level you cannot have sex, even if it's a beautiful gift from God? And he says, yes.
Because
he got
they're not
it.
married.
Yes. And of course, I also explained why allowing himself to have sex would be damaging his system because it's growing sexually. He's now 9. So he's preteen. So if he starts now, I explained in simpler language that he understands. So we don't hide.
Ay, lakini Benjamin,
Okay?
surely.
So now, let me finish.
Finish.
So
Well,
what happens when you do
hot.
this, when they get to points of curiosity, okay? Because there's a lot of curiosity that comes. We were all adolescents and clearly we
Yeah,
got
true.
curious,
And
whether
teenage,
we went
actually.
sexual way or not. But the point is we were all curious, like, what is that? People would say things, very graphic things, and you're thinking, oh my God, how foolish can I be? So you cut all this from them. Now you move with them. At adolescence, you become very open. You're going to be talking about what is it you're experiencing. Do you feel attracted to some boy? Do you feel attracted to some girl? And expect them. If they say no, then I say, probably we need to pray because it's normal for you to feel that way. And when you feel that way, you need to raise your heart and say, thank you, Lord, my system is functioning proper. But now what you feel and what you do are two different things. And I agree with Benjamin in the sense that the society and the community and the education needs to allow that. But if it doesn't, do we then say there's nothing we can do? Now, what makes it very different for parents to communicate and do the sex education for their children? Hang-ups. We have our own unfinished business with our sexuality. Now, most of us, a bigger percentage, let me say, a bigger percentage, if there was no sexual abuse, there was some form of violation. Either someone touched you inappropriately. There's a way you associate child sexuality with something that is not proper. Whether it was abuse, whether it was violation, whether it was inappropriate images, seeing adults having sex and seeing adults or hearing the voices, that affected you sexually. So unless you finish, you heal this child within. So we respond to our own children within who are very, very wounded as opposed to the children without. So children without, let me surprise you. When I did this education for this child, because we started at 3 years, the other day he was asking me, by the way, I don't know what vagina, like mentioning it with such freedom. And we have this conversation because it's a body part like the ear is. There's no shame for them. But for us, there's a lot of shame because we are responding to our own woundedness. So we talk about vaginas, penises, breasts, blah, 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 with ease, just like the way you mention eyes. And then we say, but you know those ones are supposed to be protected. They are special, right? Yes, they are special. Yes.
Benjamin, yeah, well, it's getting a little too hot for me. You know, I'm an African, typical
Let
male
me come to
woman.
the group that is getting pregnant.
Teenagers.
I need to tell them that you don't need a boyfriend until you're 25. Before 25, that's when your frontal lobe, this part, will finish stabilizing, maturing. That part controls reasoning and feeling. And before you're 25, 22 is the most prone. They were the hot group that I was trying to rescue before this one came. I'm happy this came sooner. It's not a new thing. It just came closer home for people to stop hiding their eyes.
I'm hiding.
I'm happy now people are having the conversations on panels. That one was not being discussed, and it was causing so much pain and suffering. Now, this is what I want to tell young girls. Socialize without specializing. Interact with boys, interact with men, but without any word love. Oh, I feel you. You can feel everything, but you don't control you're not controlled by your feeling. You should possess love without it possessing you. Nobody is your love. Don't call anybody my love. You're confusing it thinking they carry your love. You're feeling God pleasure. The feeling is within you. Love is shared. It's not given. Nobody comes with it or takes it away. Another thing, when you conveys love to a boy or tell him I like you, you open yourself up. When boys hear I love you, they think sex. In fact, you can experiment next time. Try hugging a boy and see whether you will not erect. He touches your breast. Bendera inafly nusu mlingoti. Manu inachapa Arsenali. Do you hear
All
the stories? No, I'm talking about boys now. Remember, I'm talking about this young group.
I was a bit scared.
No,
You had thrown me off.
let me expand it. Most men, if they like you and they embrace you, they will feel the chemistry. It's normal. It's not bad. There's a boy, a girl was asking the mom, tulikuwa kwa nyuma kwa bus with Tony. Tony akapitisha mkono hapa apatie chalo kalamu. Na aliponingusa kwa shingo nikasikia electricity. So that electricity is what you need to explain to your teenagers, that chemistry is healthy between boys and girls. Just avoid too much contact, because then it will warm you up. It will arouse you before time. You also need to teach boys about these things, about wet dreams, about fantasizing. It's you're having a crush with a girl, just seeing her the first time, and suddenly you think she's the best thing after toasted, after that
Toasted bread.
Yes. Part of the problem we are having is they're coming. I told you my first training is law. When I was doing attachment, I realized that we are having so many teenage pregnancies as cases of defilement. Now, we need also boys to be held responsible. Right now we are counting the girls, and nobody is holding, because the girls know the men who did it. Why are we not going after them? If you were to punish a few, the rest will be a deterrent.
And it would be a lesson.
Yeah, right now they look like they're just the way I was calling them, marauding hordes of sex hunting men.
And like it's
just
okay.
Looking, and then it's only the girl who will be paraded because of pregnancy.
Yeah.
Some of those boys are impregnated 5-6 girls, and they should be paraded. This one is responsible for 6 of them. Defilement has a punishment of 22 years minimum. Once convicted, having sex with a girl below 18, that it's called defilement, and you'll be sentenced for 22 years or more. And it's like that law is not even in their minds, because it's not been executed. Now, I wanted to ask us to teach young people this, because many of them got to come. The reason some of them are having so many pregnancies is because at home it's very controlling, school is very controlling, and church is very controlling. Those are the 3 environments that teenagers live in.
Exactly.
When they're not at home, they're at church or they're at school. So they're under teachers, or they're under parents, or they're under the spiritual leaders. So right now, because there's this lockdown, there's a vacuum, because they're supposed to be in school and they're not in school, parents, and so that space in between is where the dysfunction is happening. So what you need to teach children is to run their own lives without supervision. Let's stop raising automatons, robots, who must be ordered about to behave right. You need to start giving your children controlled freedom early. Some of us, we lock the gate. Mtoto asitoke leo, but you give them the phone. So you lock them from the world, but you brought the world home. So some of you, your kids get 400 marks and reward them with an iPhone or a tablet. Oh, Junior, got 400 marks. Yes. Then you bring the whole world to them. The best thing is to introduce the phone when they can manage it, and to prepare them. If I give you the phone now, you may not know which sides are good, which are not good. For now, this is what you need. This is what you need. We need to give the children controlled, progressive freedom and exposure. Most of our music now is full of sexual innuendo.
Yeah.
Wamlambes, wamnyonyes, what is that? Pure sex. Literary audio pornography, And those are, that group that sings that way is a group of high school leaders. In case you don't know. Sailors are young boys. You look at them, you want and the reason their music rings and flows is because our population is young people, is the biggest population. And they want that violent. They have even invented their own genre called gengeton. They've invented that. That is from Kenya, there's nowhere else. The way you have raga, you have reggae, we have our own genre. And it's violent, it's sexual, it is this, it is that. So you need to teach young people that. If you listen to this, there's a girl who told me she listened to that music, as she wanted to sleep with it, she felt sexually so aroused. So the next man found her already. So sometimes it's not just the men who are seducing the girls, it's the content they have consumed and aroused. Have you heard that the puberty age has lowered? Kitambo girls used to get pregnant from 13, now they are pregnant from 10, 11. Because hormones have been aroused early by the content they are consuming, the social media they are in. Unapata umempea simu na jalala kwa blanket na chat adus. Uko wapi? Niko kwa bedroom. Nisonge kuja tulale. Nitumie picha nakaa hivi. Sex talk, sex talk, sex talk until they have completely aroused. So I suggest the following. We control what you're exposing to them, but we give them conversation and then you let them go out. Don't lock them in. Tell them go and please, it's your responsibility. I trust you to do the right thing. Instead of being a police, be a teacher who trusts progressively.
Well, let's speak from the teaching. Mm-hmm. We are as good as we were taught.
Thank you. Like I
and
was
that
not
is
taught.
Factual. I was not taught. And to be very honest, I struggled through sexuality. Mm-hmm. Like, who am I? Is it a good thing? Is it a point of shame or a point of comfort? And I am walking children through, and the area of sexuality is one of the areas that I wake up thinking about every single morning. Mm-hmm. Now, following my client work, even adults who come to sessions, 7 out of 10 have been sexually abused or violated. Mm-hmm. Now, if training was done proper, a lot of this would be eliminated. But again, this is where the point of affection comes in. Mm-hmm. Because there's no human being who exists in a void.
We are relational beings, by the way.
No, we are social, we are relationship oriented. So if we are not getting this love from our parents, we will tend to gravitate around it.
We will fall for anything.
Wherever else it can be.
Yes.
And peers appear to be some of the people who give you this affection.
True.
Or some other stray people, like he put it, anyone who seems to show you any level of concern is interpreted as love, because we are going for inadequacy that we do not have. So this is where affection comes in. A parent gives a child affection and trains them moving through life. As he is putting, at adolescence, you'll be able to tell a child sexual urges are normal. I went through them. By the way, I was attracted. If you get to this kind of a real talk, and this is essentially what we do with children, they'll tell us the things the parents have never had, because we are telling we are being vulnerable ourselves. That I struggled. By the way, I fell in love with a guy I look at and I'm like, oh my God, what was that about? I was feeling amazing, but it was just that. Like, with all honesty, expose yourself, be vulnerable with them, they will be vulnerable with you. When they begin to feel, you congratulate them, not to say, eh? And sometimes they'll feel towards the wrong people, including people who are meant to be their fathers and people who are as old as their mothers. But feelings are just okay, they're just that. So if you can walk these children through, at this point where they get lost, because Benjamin is talking about this society that when you put them together, they lose it. First of all, I agree with the fact that children are over-controlled. We imagine by policing them, they will not have sex. And sex happens everywhere, even on phone. So really, the issue is not to police them, it's to give them correct, accurate information, be vulnerable with them, help them know that we went through that, it was hard, and employ working strategies, okay? Like, it's okay, relate, talk to boys, all of them, but don't have one in particular. And when they are beginning to have a certain feeling towards one, let them come home and say, what do I go about this? Then have a conversation, looking for solution as opposed to, umeanza kupenda vijana, that is the only thing you have,
Ukuje. You know how ukuje, some are intimidated and threatened, in the name of being taught. But nisikuone. Ama enda ukuje na mimba. And very
wrong, because you create fear around sexuality as opposed to health.
health.
So we are blaming children for things we have never taught them. Actually, my heart goes out to these teenagers who are getting pregnant.
Now, a simple one. And this is actually, this conversation, I think, was preempted because we had it yesterday. I was pedicuring and manicuring, and we had a conversation, you know. And teenagers were talking to me and were telling me, you know what, Patricia, you people are very fast. You know, of course, I was taking the blame for all the parents. And you know what they told me? My mother cannot tell me about sex because I know I know she has a boyfriend out there. So what would she tell me? That immorality? My dad sleeps with our house girl. I know. You know, they told me some heavy stuff, and I was like, okay, yes. Have we, as the parents, as much as we need to do sex education, should we be the right role model? So we have a moral standing to even sit them down and talk to them about some of these things.
But training is, first of all, do. See what I do, follow. That is what training
Monkey
is.
see, monkey do.
Yes. You cannot teach what you don't do.
Practice.
Then that is not training.
It's
simple vibe, which they don't take from anywhere. So you have to be the first. I say children learn first and foremost from parents. If you're not employing healthy sexuality, don't tell them anything. They will follow what you do. Okay? And also the reason why parents struggle with their own sexuality is because of the other businesses I have said. Because for me, it is the parent who needs help, not the teenagers.
Benjamin, those men out there, I love what you have called them. And I'm telling you to talk to the men because you're a man. I may not have a moral standing to talk to the men.
And I need to clarify that not all men are sick.
I know. A group. Yes. We are talking about the group.
Yes.
This does not mean that there are no good men. There are very many men, but there is a group, a specific group that is sick. Now, they in this group, they are fathers. Those are the ones I really want you to specialize on. Those fathers in this group. They are group, but now you know it becomes even worse when you are in this group and you are a parent because there's someone looking up to you.
I don't want you to assume that everybody who has a child is a father.
No. I'm talking about a father who could be a dead
child,
child, but is a father.
Is still a father.
But there is still a father because you fathered.
Okay, let me use another word, a daddy. I'm talking about a relationship. There are men who get a child and they were just trying to have fun. Then you texted back. Ile mbegu ulipanda ilimea. I've not received the last one. The guy was not trying to become a daddy. So we have a group that is father biological, but
not father in every
it's
other
a
way.
nuisance. They even disappear. They were not trying to have a child with anyone. So
now, how about these ones who are at home with children? Well, yes, you are a father. You may not be a very perfect father, but at least you live with your wife and your children. Again, now you're immoral.
And they are looking at you.
They are looking up to you. So they see you and they see what you do. And you think they don't know, but somehow they know. Our children get to know so many things. Those are the fathers I want you to address. Those ones who live with their children.
I don't want to waste my words on people who are not listening.
Jehovah.
Those men won't listen to you.
Talk to them.
If you go with a Holy
one
speaker,
will listen.
If you go with a Holy
one
speaker,
out of 1 million will listen. Talk to that one who is going to listen.
That's okay. But I want to ask those men to do what? Let me talk to the boys, to the children under them.
Okay.
You don't have to follow your parents. Everybody is influenced by their father. You can follow him or go in his opposite direction. There were two identical twins who were born to a chain-smoking father. And they were brought up in different continents. Something happened. It was incidental. But researchers followed it up. One went to an auntie in South Africa, the other one in North America. And they were identical twins, but their father was a chain smoker. One became a chain smoker. The other one never touched a cigar. They were asked, why don't you smoke? He said, because my father is a chain smoker. Why do you smoke? Because my father is a chain smoker.
Awesome.
They used him as a northern star to find direction. One said, this is the way I must not go. Yes. The one said, this is the way I must go. I want to ask all the young people to stop emulating what is not good. See how your parents behave, and instead of using anger and destroying your life because of anger, go the direction you think is right. I saw my father fight with my mother very much, and I said, I don't know why they fight so much. I think there's so much tension and strife. There's so hostility at home here. When I grow up, I want to be different. I want to have peace. I want to have laughter and fun. We never saw my father and mother laughing. If they laughed, we all got confused. We don't know how to respond because they never joke. You know, we look here, okay, so how does this one go? You know, I want to ask us that. I want to tell young people Timothy was told by Paul not to be looked down upon, not to despise himself. From the time you get to know evil and good, you have a choice. You have a choice to stop acting like you are remote controlled by the behavior of your parents because this is the house help, because this is your life. Soon you'll be a father of your own right, a mother of your own right. What will you have to show to your children? The child you are getting pregnant for, that's an independent human being. What will you tell them? I bore you too soon because my parents were misbehaving. You can't pass on that. You need to organize your own life. So I want to invite young people, stop behaving like you're not in charge of your life. This is your life. Soon you'll be out of that home. Please, find another role model, even if it's not your biological parent, who to look up to. A priest, a pastor, a father, an uncle, a teacher, a role model on TV. Emulate Patricia, emulate Anne, emulate John, emulate me, emulate the people you want to become like.
Exactly.
You still have a choice.
That's powerful.
Let me
Come on,
go
guys.
back to the parent.
Yes.
The parent who Benjamin has refused to talk to.
Talk to them.
This young person is soon in 10, 15 years, they're going to be parents themselves. Yes. So let me talk to the parent.
Yes.
Be what you will be proud to see your child be.
Hallelujah.
Because in as much as we say, we are a society who observes. If for example, all the fathers are promiscuous, as we say, men are polygamous by nature, what are we teaching this generation? Because there's a saying that exists. It's actually not okay.
It is not okay.
It's not okay
it's
because
immoral.
It's immoral.
Yes.
But what happens is we teach these ones that are coming up that, you know what, society rewards this behavior. So in as much as it is true what he has said, learn from your parents what not to be. I agree fully. But as you become a parent yourself, be what you want your children to be. Because it's no child who will refuse to follow good behavior from their own parents.
Come on, guys. This is so nice. I really want you guys to give me a parting shot. 30 seconds, parting shots. I don't know how you're going to do it, but just talk to the parents, talk to the teenagers, both girls and boys. Parting shot. 30 seconds only.
As a parent, heal from your own issues of sexuality so that you can be able to teach. As a child, know that your sexuality is in your own. There's nothing as amazing as growing healthy sexually and having to enjoy sex when you really want to at adult life. It's amazing.
And that teenager who's pregnant right now, probably she goofed. Tell her a word of encouragement. Even
there's love after pregnancy.
Okay.
This is the time to know that your woundedness has led you there. And in as much as you're surrounded by shame, you can pick yourself together. Great people have come from some form of shame. So
abortion is not an option.
There's hope. I will say, as much as possible, the psychological effects of abortion are way above what anyone else knows. I have not found anyone who went through abortion who did not have to deal with something psychological later, in terms of the thought process, the guilt, the shame, and the feelings that come with it. So
it's not an option.
Clearly not.
Benjamin, there's that boy. This one has talked to the girls. Talk to that boy who has impregnated a girl out there. Probably they have come to their senses, or probably they have not even come to their senses. Talk to them.
Most likely not.
Whether there are some maybe who have come to their senses,
there are men,
others not.
I know there are men, they are out telling you, young man, that mwanaume is conquest, body count, skirt count, how many girls you can ingiza box. But let me tell you the truth. True masculinity is not measured by the instrument between your legs. It is measured by the instrument between your ears. It's how you think that makes you a man. It's how you can be polite and courteous and guide girls and control your own emotions. Let me ask you, if you run after every female thing, you fail. How different are you from donkeys? They do the same. Be different, man. Control your own feelings, man. Say, I wanna build my own life so that when I finally meet my girl in future, I'll treat her like a queen because of your king then. You cannot treat her like a queen if you're a he-goat who's running after every female thing. I want to ask you to differentiate yourself. If your peers are counting how many girls they did, you count how many books you read, how many speakers you follow, how many points you have, how you are thinking 10 years down the line. Your peers are not thinking 10 years down the line. They are thinking which girl they think about next week. You're going to drive good cars, employ those guys, and so they knew you. If now you start thinking 10 years down the line, differentiate yourself by your competence, not by your potency. Thank you.
Thank you. Guys, it's been so real. And my parting shot, I don't to quote the words of Will Smith. He said something that really, really, really touched me. He said that he grew up seeing his father do some very good things and some very damn things. And his father taught him two things: what he really wants to do in life and what he never wants to do in life. Probably your parents are not the best role models. That does not mean that you cannot get yourself another role model. You can look up to somebody, and looking up to somebody, you can even reach out. You can take that extra step of reaching out and telling them, you know what, please be my mentor. Remember, your life is yours. Your parents lived their life, and now you have your life to live. And to the parents, kindly, please, let's be responsible parents. It's a wrap from us here at Tabasamu Tena. We would love to hear your response. Send us your comments, your suggestions, your questions, and we will be sure to address them. And if there's a topic that you feel that we can address, kindly let us know. We are on all the social media platforms at Tabasamu Tena TV Show. You can reach out to Benjamin on all the social media platforms. He is Benjamin Zulu KE. Joan Kirera is Joan Kirera on all the social media platforms. We hope to see you next time. Till next time, God bless.